Welcome back to Art with Miss Linda. I'm super happy to see everyone again. Hopefully everyone learned something from last week's lesson about all the materials. We're going to start out with something extremely basic. There's 3 different types of lines that make every single shape that you'll ever have to make. And behind me is a poster that shows you straight lines, curved lines, and then we have the angles on the bottom. If you think about it and you look around right now, just without me telling you anything, see how many things have curved lines. See how many things have straight lines. You're going to find that the curved lines are often more natural things. Your straight lines that create angled lines are actually more man-made materials. It's probably something that you didn't think about before. If you've learned about these lines before, you might be familiar with it. But the line families is what some artists call them, are a family, and it is kind of a family because our shapes come from those. I'm going to put my glasses on and read a little bit of it. 3 basic lines in the line family are curved lines. Now these curved lines, they often and generally create movement because they are movement themselves. Your straight lines and your angle lines, they give you direction. They seem to point up or down, left or right, parallel, horizontal, or as you know, portrait and landscape. That's what happens when you do it. But every single object around you, even your fingers, curved lines. Your body is mostly curved lines because it is natural. We're going to learn about geometric and organic lines next week. But for now, let's just get a handle on all these basic line shapes. And once you're doing them, and as you're doing them, look at what you're doing. Just say, if I'm going up and down, zigzag, right? There's spiral, exploding, drooping, flowing, skinny, swirly, scratchy, wild, smooth, all kinds of lines. When you give them a name as you're doing them, you are giving that line more purpose than to just put a simple little line. When we're doing our artwork, we want to make sure that we're not touching things, because once you take these shapes, once you take a curved line and you connect it, you get a circle. Once you connect 2 straight lines, you're going to get your angle. Once those angles are connected more, you're going to get your rectangles and squares. They're shapes. A lot of times, say a vase is a combination of curved with a flat bottom and a flat top. So you have 2 lines and you have curved lines in between. Once you learn how to connect these lines, you're going to be able to draw anything you choose. Just think of the alphabet. You learned how to write your letters, right? They're curves, they're angles, they're straight lines. So that was your first lesson in the line family here, but we're going to carry it on into like the ability to look at something, have those in your brain, create that shape in just an outside contour way, and you're going to be able to put it down on paper without thinking too hard. So if I can teach you from the bottom up with this simple way of doing things, and then pulling this into further classes that we're going to do, so step by step, we'll learn how to get you to the point where you're happy with what you're doing. And again, I will repeat this constantly. If you need to do something again, don't be disheartened. Walk away from it if you need to. Ask someone's advice of, what do you think I can do? Or you just look at it. Move the paper, get another one out, and try it again. So I'm going to have you do a quick lesson to familiarize yourself with these lines. Remember, give them names. Get kooky with it. You know, I love being around 5-year-olds because they're not worried about being a little kooky. They just come up with like, blah, 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 and that would be the name of the line, and they would be perfectly happy. Maybe we can think like a 5-year-old and just be a little silly with our lines, all right? So now that we've learned about the 3 basic lines, we're going to do them individually so that we get a real feel for it. And we're going to have fun with them because we're not just going to be going curved line, curved line, curved line, straight, straight, straight. We're going to use these little broken crayons I was talking about. And we're going to not only make these thin lines. If you remember, I told you in the intro that thick lines, thin lines, if they're straight, if they're curved, they're still a straight line. 2 straight lines meet and make an angle, and they're thick or thin, they're still an angle. So we'll use 3 different sheets of paper for each category, for each different line family. I'm going to start out, oh, you know what? It might be good to learn C-U-R-V-E-D, curved. Let's put a title on them. We'll get a little practice with our handwriting as well as with our artistic talent. Because if you look at these letters, they're made up of curved, angled, and straight lines. I told you everything is made up of these lines. So curved, let yourself be free. Move your shoulders, move your elbows, move your wrists. Curved, curved, curved. And you can put a curved line. Remember, they can't close because that's when they make a shape. So we'll just do a few bumpy curves. Now once you get this done, take your little broken crayons, hold them, pinch them like I taught you, and you can either go over it. Ooh, look at that, it's thick. And wherever you're pushing the most on the crayon, the darker the line. Let's get a red. And I'm going to use this one this way. It's going to be thicker than normal. It's not red, it's orange. See that? Now, this one's going to be super thick. And super light, actually. Let's try a dark color. Let's do a thick black. Comes out kind of grayish. And one purpley red. I'm going to turn my paper and I'm going to do bumps in front of the bumps. So we have our curved family. Now, stack my paper up. I've said it before and you'll hear me say these things over and over again. If you have more than one sheet of paper, it's a cushion. It makes it easier for your pencils to work, your crayons, your markers. So let's do this straight. S-T-R-A-I-G-H-T. Straight. Don't need to underline it or anything like that. Now, with our straight lines, we're going to go thick and thin, short and tall. I only did a couple of small curved lines. Oh, I'm so anxious to get at my crayons, I forgot about my pencil. So, straight lines. Long, short, long, short, 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 long. These seem a little more boring, but once you start creating a pattern with them, they become a little more interesting. So let's see. Let's do one long one, 2 long ones, because we're going to put some color in here and make it more interesting. And none of these are thick. I can put my pencil sideways and go up and down slowly. Now I'll have to fill that in because otherwise that is a triangle. Let's try this way. When you're drawing or doing anything, a lot of times you have an idea of what you want to do and then it comes out like this and you have to fill it in. But I've got a solution. Get your big fat black crayon and just fill that in. There you go. Problem solved. So obviously using this I can only get it this thick, which is basically the same as that. So I know that yellow's not going to show too much, so I'm just going to put this straight yellow line right over the black. Ooh, there's a little blue stuck on it, and it looks really, really cool. See, sometimes when you're doing things, I didn't intend for that, but it's a straight line. It looks really great. It kind of created a beautiful shape. Straight, straight. Now, I said that moving them in different directions will give you this really cool pattern. You can do the same thing with your crayons. Get these straight lines, create a pattern. See how much more exciting that looks with just adding one little color to it. Okay, creating a little water scene there on the bottom with my straight lines. All right, I've used this. I'm going all the way up with this, and then I'm going to go underneath it. I'm trying not to touch anything so that it doesn't create that shape. And then that was not. This is what I was looking for. This is what was This is what was in there, and this is what I was looking for. So you never know what's going to end up. Just got to throw it in your treasure box. Might need it for something. Now my paper wasn't even, so that one there. See, a little extra effort going up and down makes a difference. All right, straight lines done. Now your angles. Basically, you're taking your two straight lines and you're going to create an angle. Angles can go many, many ways, as you saw on our board. Uh-oh, angles. A-N-G-L-E. And if you do A-N-G-E-L and spell angle, don't feel bad, because Miss Linda, when she first did it, had to stop and think, is it E-L or L-E? We're never too old to learn something new, and to double check on yourself makes you feel better in the end. Okay, the letter V. The letter W. All right, there's some angled line. Let's get some color in there. What haven't I used? I don't think I've seen a purple yet. Purple and turquoise. So I'm going to guess this is purple. It might be blue. So let's see. When they're peeled, it's really hard. That's why you kind of like got to check on the side or something. So I'm going to go in the opposite direction. Kind of cool. I think I'll do a thick one with this. Now I'm going to always hold your paper when you're doing, with the other hand, hold the paper. It gives you more control. Oh, here we go. Now that's a nice, broad, thick line. If I put this on each end, I've made a bed. You never know what you're going to get with these. Purple we use, so we'll use a light purple. This one's nice and small, so I can get a little more creative with this. Do you know what? I didn't make these angles. Bum, ba, bum. My mind was still on the straight lines. But it doesn't matter because I fixed it. See? Never a mistake in my class. That looks like a big check mark. Let's see. Oh, let's see if we can create. It's a little light. So I'm going to go in there with a gray. When we start going around and around, it almost looks like one of those puzzles that you have to go in one end and out the other. And what I didn't do is this. This is your typical angle. When people think of an angle, this is what they think of. And I talked about it. Your straight lines give you directions. These are going in a direct way. Your curved line gives you motion. It gives you action. So when you're doing this, it's important to remember the type of drawing that you want to create when you're doing it. Once you're done with this, I'm going to take mine and I'm going to put them in front of me. I want you to combine them. Create one piece of artwork. I think I'll use one of the bigger pieces of paper. I was using that great regular old Xerox paper. So I'm going to not think too hard. I'm going to think curved line. And again, they can't touch because I don't want to make a shape. I just want to do the lines. So this is going to take some thinking and a little more planning on your part. I think I'll do all color. You with me? Color's good? Okay, let's do this great curved V. And that's kind of combining the curved with the angle to create something new. And let's do some straight lines through here. You don't know what you're going to discover when you do this. Those could be wings. See? The discovery of what comes once you just let yourself go. Don't expect too much and then get really excited when it's done because it was amazing. All right, let's do a really big curly. And then tiny little. See? Those angles, super, like the tip of an arrow, give you direction. You can see what I'm going for, right? Just this wonderfully beautiful. Ooh, I haven't used yellow because it doesn't show up, but let's do some thick, straight lines. And I'm going to carry them over here because then your eye will go from one set of yellow to the other. And let's do this on top of that. And more curved lines, I agree. I think we need, let's throw some black in to see what happens. Black is a really strong color, but sometimes when you do these black, oh, that's a cool little, it highlights. So don't be afraid of black, but don't overuse black because it is a strong color. And I think maybe a thick one, kind of thick right here. And one thick one here. There you go. Now if you want to go in there with your pencil and kind of highlight it, you can. It will also give you the motion again. Because the more free you are with your arms and your hands and your shoulders, the easier these are going to be. So again, please practice these. Do them once. And the advantage is you can watch it again. You can pause it at any time. You can stack your work up. Oh, I have something to show you. I'm going to stack all of my artwork up. And I'm going to keep it in one spot. I'm going to put it in a file folder. And put curved lines on it. Or 3 basic lines, and then I can save it. And next time when I want to go to it, I just have to go to that folder. And notice what I'm doing. I'm cleaning up my mess when I'm done. So when you're done, not only stack your artwork up to save in a file folder, and then these little tabs right here, which are hard to see when you're using big paper, you can just write the line family or 3 basic lines, and you have it. And next time when you want to go back to it, or if you'd like to teach it to someone else and share what you've learned, please do that, because that's one of the most important things, is to share and learn and become a really, really good person. All right, we've got our beginning. Now we have a place to start, which you always need a place to start. Next week, we're going to go into the geometric and organic shapes, which means we're going to connect these lines together. Practice, practice, practice. I appreciate the fact that you are going to start at the beginning with me and move forward, because there are so many things to explore. Don't touch your lines, because then they become shapes. That's my only advice. I'm not a you have to do it my way kind of person. But until we get to the shapes, let's just try to make really cool, curvy. Give them names, write the names down, practice your handwriting as you do it, learn how to sound out the word. Next week is going to be great, because it's going to be more of a little 3-dimensional project, a little off the charts as far as things go. So thank you again for being with me today, and I'm excited to see you next class.